Hi boys and girls, it's Mr. Yates, and in this video I'm going to be going over some pro tips about how to be successful answering the history question today, book 4, chapter 19. Let me first go over the question. Why do you think the author titled chapter 19 A Day of Celebration and Tears? Use evidence from the text to support your answer. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be finding out why did the author think that a day of celebration and tears was a great sort of summation of what was going on in the chapter. Usually chapter titles are going to be a little bit of a summary about what happened in the chapter. So let's take a look at some answer sentences that are not that great, just to give you an idea of what we're looking for to make a really good answer sentence for this question of the day. First of all, student A. Student A said that I think the author titled Chapter 19, A Day of Celebration and Tears, because there were celebration and tears in the chapter. Not really a fan of this one because basically the student just basically took the word celebration and put it right down here in his answer, and tears from the question into the answer. So he didn't really explain it, he just sort of repeated the chapter title. So don't do that, boys and girls. I want you to use your own words when you're explaining to me what the chapter might mean. So please don't use that. Student B did a little bit better. They actually used their own words here. They said, I think the author titled chapter 19, The Day of Celebration and Tears, because there were happy things and sad things in the chapter. I like how they use their own words. I was kind of hoping on this one that they would use a little bit better words or more detailed words, just the words happy things and sad things. That's frankly just kind of a little bit first gradey for our fifth graders to use those kind of words. So let's try to use some more detailed or better words to answer questions like that. So and maybe try to even be specific about instead of using the word things or stuff. So let's take a look at a better answer sentence by student C. The student C said, oh, I'm going to get rid of that part right there. Student C said, I think the author titled chapter 19 A Day of Celebration and Tears because there were both. Oh, I like how they use the word both there to say that there are two things going on. There were both joyful and tragic events on the same day, July 4th, 1826. And I really like that, boys and girls, because what they did, I'm going to do one more thing here. I just needed to add an extra comma here. Same day, July 4th, 1826. Now, the student on that one went ahead and added some more detail in the words joyful and tragic events. It's a little bit better detail than saying happy things and sad things, and it's definitely better than just repeating the celebration and tears in the student A's answer. They also explained that there were tragic events on the same day, July 4th, 1826, which is a better way to answer this question with detail that really explains why the author titled chapter 19 A Day of Celebration and Tears based on the evidence from the text. Now the next step in this is going to be using a evidence from the text. And I want to show you how to use that evidence from the text. So I'm going to give you a model here to work on. First of all, you want to show your evidence, and here's an example of how you could start. You want to show a joyful event, and you could use other words than joyful event. You could use anything that sort of means the same thing. And you can also use a different word than tragic event. I just use this as a model. But you do want to show one joyful event, something that was a positive happening, and you want to do a tragic event, a sad event. I know I was using the word sad earlier, it's not to use, but that's what we basically want to do. We want to talk about something that's joyful and tragic. I said here to begin with on page blank, the author states that, and that's where you want to give your joyful event on July 4th, 1826. And this is a joyful event because, then explain to me why you chose that event as an example of something joyful. The next thing I want you to do is write a paragraph that says, on the other hand, on page blank, the author notes that on July 4th, 1826, blank, and that blank is going to be the tragic event that happened on July 4th, 1826. And this is a tragic event because blank, and explain to me why it's something tragic. Boys and girls, I'd like you to use at least one piece of evidence for the joyful event and try to find on for the tragic event, two things that happened that were tragic. So what I'd like you to do is take this second paragraph that talks about a tragic event, and I want you to go ahead and give me another example here. So I'm going to say, and so instead of saying on the other hand, maybe you could say, in addition, on page blank, the author notes that on July 4th, 1826, another tragic event, blank, and tell me why that's tragic. This event is tragic because. So give me one example of joyful event, two examples of tragic events. The next thing I'd like you to do after you've got that is I want you to write a conclusion. And a conclusion, here's a model that I'd like you to do. In conclusion, after reading chapter 19, I can tell why the author titled, and I'm going to get rid of one word here. I think I overwrote this. I could tell, in conclusion, after reading chapter 19, I can tell the author titled the chapter A Day of Celebration and Tears because, and give me a 12-word summary of the last three pieces of evidence that you gave me. So I want you to write, after the word because here, a 12-word summary of the evidence that you put in the last three examples. You don't need to have a summary starter here, but I do want you to focus on using just 12 words in that remainder of the summary sentence. That should give you enough help to get you off to a good start with your question today for chapter 19. As always, if you're stuck on something, email me and I'm more than happy to help you out. Thanks, boys and girls, and thank you for doing the history question of the day for chapter 19. Bye-bye.